I think that's focused. Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome back to another full day of eating vlog with me. I feel like I say this in like every other video, but I have actually just come back from swimming, which actually means that my actual breakfast, like proper breakfast, is in the oven because I'm roasting up some Japanese sweet potatoes, which, by the way, I don't know why they take 3 times longer than regular ones, but anyways. But yeah, like I've said a million times before, the hunger after swimming is like, you need to do the 20,000 calorie challenge or something. So while I'm waiting for my sweet potatoes to roast, I whipped up a smoothie just because I wanted something like sweet, refreshing, hydrating, and also full of goodness. So in this mix, we have got, so yeah, in here I have got some frozen mango. I think I've spoken about my conspiracy theory about frozen mango before, because it's like, I bet they don't wait until it's like properly ripe to freeze it. Do you know what I mean? So we're kind of just like blending. Anyways, it's a whole other thing. So yeah, frozen mango, and then a 1/4 cup of hemp seeds. I always put that in my smoothies, like you guys know. Then just for some extra green goodness, I put in some romaine lettuce. I would usually use like spinach. And then to bump things up further, I put in a scoop of Thrive. And I've spoken about Thrive loads of times on this channel because Thrive is pretty much the only supplement, if you want to call it a supplement, that I take every day. Just because even though I feel like my diet's very balanced, it gives you a full spectrum of nutrients, and it's also kind of a gut health formula. It's a probiotic as well. So yeah, and usually I would just neck it down with some water, but if I'm making a smoothie, then goes in here. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this smoothie is pretty good. It's very sweet. So yeah, my training at the moment is kind of, one day I'll do weights, like just weights, like whether it's upper body, lower body. Remember that I'm the kind of person that even when I do upper body weights, the muscle just goes to my legs. It's just a thing. So like on average, I'll do cardio like 3 times a week, and recently it's been swimming, and I love the mental buzz you get after it, but like I said, the hunger after it is just, I don't know, it's just something else. I was talking about this on Instagram the other day. I mean, you actually can't tell in this angle because I just look like SpongeBob all the time. But like for my frame, which obviously I'm not a bodybuilder or anything, but for my frame, I've got very broad, square shoulders. And yes, tennis is mainly to blame for that, but I also did swimming like competitively from like the age of like 5 to, I don't know, 14. I'm actually really good at swimming, and I'm always looking for people to challenge me, but do you know what? You guys must think that I'm like the biggest narcissist because I always tell you that I'm like the best at things. I think like a couple videos ago I was like, oh, I'm the best double skipper in the world, which I am. Trust me guys, there are many things which I am the worst at. Yeah, just to prove to you that I'm not completely full of myself, I'll give you a list of some of the things that I'm the worst at. I'm the worst at football, as in soccer. Can't play football to save my life. I'm crap at basketball. I'm the worst at long-term relationships. I'm the worst at being a grown-up. Trying to think what other things I'm the worst at. I'm also the worst at spelling. I still can't spell unnecessary. I am like highly dyslexic. Right, one thing as well, I'm also the worst at looking that way, as in looking over my left shoulder when I take photos. I feel like I'm that guy. Do you remember the guy from Zoolander that could, was it that he could only turn right or that he could only turn left? I can't remember, but I'm the same. Even if I'm like, Miles, look that way, look that way. As soon as someone whips out their phone, it's just, and that's why my Instagram feed is just basically an archive of me staring that way. Obviously, goes without saying, we have got a nut butter review coming up later. But do you know what guys, after my last video, which was making my own nut butters, I don't feel like I'll ever be satisfied again. Because all of them were just so damn good, it's kind of just inspired me to keep making my own creations, which I am going to. But having said that, there are so many new nut butters popping up here, there and everywhere, which need to be reviewed because the people need to know. So also this evening, I think me and my friends are gonna hit the trampoline park, but we're definitely going to our favorite, well I say our favorite, my favorite vegan restaurant in London. It's called the Black Cat, and their burger is just, it's just like different levels. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go enjoy this in the sun, and I'll see you when my potatoes are ready. Bye. Alright guys, so my Japanese sweet potatoes are finally ready. These literally took like 1 hour and 20 minutes to make. I don't know why. The reason I love having Japanese sweet potato for breakfast is because it tastes like vanilla cake, right? And actually these ones are very starchy and dry, so it's almost as if you're eating vanilla cake. But it does taste of vanilla cake. And then we can just spruce it up with some delicious sweet toppings, and of course, some peanut butter. Alright, so for toppings, I'm gonna start with some fresh rasps, and these are actually locally grown. Like I've said in some of my previous videos, we are so blessed in the summer to get locally grown berries, like cherries, strawberries, blackberries, the whole shebang. Here comes the fun part. I'd usually use almond butter for this, but today I'm just in a peanut butter mood. And this is the runny peanut butter from Morrison's, which I always big up because it comes in a glass jar, it's runny, look at that, it's hella runny and smooth, and it's cheap. I've also got some locally grown cherries, and these are the kind of cherries, let me show you, I'll bite into one. You see, these are the cherries that are like deep purple inside, full of antioxidants, they're so sweet, just can't get enough. Do you know what, I feel like this does need a bit of salt. I don't know why I feel like it needs salt, but it does, because the peanut butter is not salted. Hold on. A little sprinkle of salt. And I cannot wait to dive into this and happily apply to face. Cheers. Also, I feel the need to tell you, again, this is the peanut butter I use all the time because it's just cheap, it's runny, it's the best. But if you guys have not tried, just get a cherry, dunk it straight in, just get a good old dunk, look at that. Yeah, and you just apply to face like that. It's the best. Yeah, so you guys all know by now that I love myself a good dip, love something to dunk through, just as much as I love wearing hoodies in hot weather. But yeah, for lunch today, I'm gonna keep it simple but very tasty, and I'm gonna make a batch of my favorite dip of all time, which is a high protein dip, and it's made from edamame beans, peas, tofu, lemon juice, cumin, tahini, of course, and salt, pepper, and then you can add additional things like dill or parsley if you want as well. Yeah, and you can use it as like a sandwich filler. You can just dollop it on top of salad like you would with hummus, or you can do what I'm gonna do today, which is just roast up some veggies and use it as a good old dunk. And I do kind of play around with this recipe a bit, and by that I mean I change it every single time I make it. But yeah, the exact way I make it today, I'll put like all the recipe, I'll put all the ingredients and the measurements and stuff down below. Alright guys, little tip, homemaking tip with Miles. The best way to get parchment paper to stick is just to put some water underneath. I do that every time, and then it just sticks perfectly, you know? Look at that, homemaking tips with Miles. Martha Stewart is quaking. Also, I know today is a bit potato crazy, considering I had potatoes for breakfast. I'm having them for lunch, because I'm using these to dunk in the dip. And then I'm pretty sure at dinner, I'm also gonna get fries, but I'm not complaining. A little bit salt and pepper. Do you know what? I've got a bit of fresh dill as well, so may as well, you know, because sweet potato and dill is just a match made in heaven. Little drizzle of olive oil, which is of course optional. All right, so into a hot oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. I like them really like crispy on the outside and squish within, if you know what I'm saying. And in the meantime, we can whip up the dip. All right, so we've got lots of peas. Make sure you don't overcook them. There's nothing worse than brown, mushy peas. Literally just shock them if they're frozen for like 1 to 2 minutes. Some steamed edamame beans. And I've got about half a block of tofu. This is actually, well, it says firm, but we don't really get like proper firm tofu in the UK for some reason. But actually smooth works best in this recipe, because remember, you want it to be kind of smooth and creamy, kind of like hummus. And then of course you will need some good proper runny Arabic tahini, the juice of 2 fresh limone, a little bit of cumin, then some salt, pepper, blend it up, and that's it. This is gonna make kind of a big batch. I would say like 4 servings at least. Give it a little taste to see if it needs anything extra. Perfect. All right, first of all, before I plate this up, can we just appreciate how these have roasted? Can we just appreciate the squish factor? Oh, all right guys, there you have it. Very simple, but very tasty. And yeah, like I said, this is one of my favorite dips of all time. And I love the contrast between like the sweet potato, because obviously it's very sweet. And this is quite bitter and lemony, this dip. So good. Also, I know this is a pretty light lunch for me. You're used to seeing me eat like huge green salads, etc. But as we're going out for dinner later and we're gonna eat big, plus we're going trampolining, so I don't wanna be like too full, you know what I mean? Anyways, I'm gonna shut up now. Nothing left to do, apart from happily apply to face. Cheers. Seriously guys, the flavor. that flavor. Alright guys, so apparently Asda has now come out with their own range of 100% nuts, like 100% almonds and 100% peanuts. You know that recently I've been raving, well, to be honest, recently I've been raving about my own nut butters because they were just something else, if you haven't seen that video. But yeah, recently I have tried some of the budget ones. When I say the budget ones, I mean Morrison's, the one I showed you earlier. I mean the one from Aldi and the one from Lidl, which you guys told me to get because apparently it was the best and it was cheap. And you guys were right, but I had no idea that this was a thing. Right off the bat, I'm really impressed that both of these come in a glass jar because you all know I'm trying to be more of an ethical king these days. Not only that, but these were cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean cheap, like even cheaper than Morrison's, like even cheaper than Lidl, like even cheaper than Aldi, like 50 times cheaper than Whole Earth. Yeah, so I think this one, the 100% almonds, was, I think it was £1.75. For almond butter, for pure almond butter, glass jar, no palm oil, that's like unheard of in this country, you know? Then we have the 100% roasted peanuts. There's no salt added. I mean, yeah, you guys know that I love it runny, I love it salty, but you can always just add your own salt. So this one, I believe, I can't remember the exact price. I did take a picture. I'll insert it now. I think it was like $1.50 for pure peanuts in a glass jar. That is actually unheard of in this country. But the question is, what do they taste like? All right, we're gonna start with the almond butter. And actually, what am I chatting about? It's not just what they taste like, it's what the texture is like. That's the most important thing for me. Well, not most important, but you know what I mean. I will say that right off the bat, that is really oily on top, but, oh, okay, I see how it is. Look at that, I'm very impressed. For almond butter, and I haven't even churned it that much, that is a really good texture. Look at that. Look at that. For a plain almond butter, that is a beautiful texture. Really nice and runny. I mean, as runny as almond butter is gonna get. All right, in we go. I've got high expectations, guys. This smells good. Cheers. Yeah, hell yes. I knew as soon as I opened that was gonna be good. The texture's perfect. The taste is clean, it's not over roasted. You know I've got a thing about over roasted nut butters because they just taste fishy. Spot on. Question is, with all of these cheap ones popping up here, there and everywhere, and in glass jars, and good quality, how are the other shit ones still in business? Like, how are they? Alright, on to the 100% peanuts, smooth peanut butter, source of protein. If this is runny, guys, I might just have an orgasm on camera because like I said, this was even cheaper than the bomb one from Morrison's, which I showed you earlier. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, it's not that runny. I mean, it could be a little bit runnier, but that's just me being a snob. Alright, here we go. Bottoms up. Yeah. Guys, let me tell you something. That I'm not gonna lie, I did have a little bit of doubts because the color is, I don't know, for a peanut butter that's really light. But yeah, like I said, the flavor is clean, and the fact that this big jar was only £1.50, guys, I mean, come on, let's face it, even if these weren't cheap as fuck, I would still be giving these high rankings, like high marks. So yeah, if you live in the UK, get your ass down to Asda. They do also do the peanut butter in crunchy, but you all know how I feel about crunchy. So yeah, very impressed. And I'll see you at dinner.
Oh, nice.
Woo! Look how sweaty we are.
I know.
Woo! You do both, no? All of you, fuck that.
Now just throw your hands in the motherfucking air and wave the motherfuckers like you just don't care. Yeah.
Guys, if only you could see, like, I'm actually
Where's Miles?
Get it from the back, get it from the back.
Strike the pose.
So for dinner we went to Chow Down in probably my all-time favourite vegan restaurant in London. It's actually in Hackney if anyone wants to go. They always have so many delicious options on the menu, some healthy and some, you know, just good for the soul and stuff. Also, I love that their portions are not stingy like most places these days. So many restaurants I go to and I just come out feeling unsatisfied because, you know, I like to eat big. But when you go there, you know you're going to get fed well, and yeah, the food is bomb. We got a few of their mixed salads to start, which were full of colourful veggies, lentils, black rice. Yes, black rice is the only rice I can deal with. Quinoa and a tahini sauce, which to be honest didn't taste anything like tahini, but I'll let them off. Then we got some of their meaty style burgers, which are actually made from seitan, but they taste like sweet potato burgers. Can't really explain it, but it's the best vegan burger I've ever had, like of all time. And they also make the best thick crunchy fries, and their garlic herby mayo is just something else. Also, I don't know why my eyes are so red at this point. Honestly, I wasn't high, I was just extremely tired. For dessert, we got some coffee cake, and to be honest, it needed some ice cream to send it down the chute, you know? But I'm not complaining because it was absolutely delicious. Anyways, guys, I'm sending you all so much love, and I'll see you all in the next video. Laters.
Satisfy my appetite with something spectacular. Check your vernacular, and then I get back to ya. With diamond like